Hello and welcome to an exciting new episode of Marketing Mavericks. In this series, we are going to unravel the stories, strategies, and secrets of those who have redefined the marketing landscape. Today, we have a true expert in the field, Nikhil Thapar, the Director Head of Field Marketing of India, APAC, and MEA. Welcome to the show, Nikhil. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Nidhi. Pleasure is all mine.
With over 16 years of experience in both B2B and B2C industries, Nikhil is known for his problem solving approach and results driven strategies. But he is more than just a marketer. He's passionate about technology and thrives on innovations that bring real change. Today, Nikhil joins us to share his insights, experiences, and the creative strategies that have led to his remarkable success. Get ready to be inspired as we take a journey with one of the marketing mavericks of our time. So, to begin with, Nikhil, I would like to ask you, with your extensive experience in both B2B and B2C industries, could you share some key insights on how the marketing landscape has evolved over the past decade and how you have adopted to these changes?
Sure, Nidhi. Now that I look back at my roughly 16 over years of career, I remember I started my career with this company called InfoEdge. And by far, I can very proudly say it's the largest and the most successful internet companies out of India. I actually started my career as a product management person. So I think the knack of solving starts from there itself. Started as a management person. I think the keen eye for details, understanding the user, their preferences, their changing behavior. I think that was the first step. How it shaped up, how it started. I remember I eventually moved to the online marketing team, and we had core KPIs on getting more people to register on Naukri.com at that time. We were so a regular KPI that we used to look at were the number of people who are registering on the website, the number of resumes we were getting, how many applications that they were doing. So I think it started from that, and it was a pure digital play when I talk about it. By default, Google PPC came really strong at that time. LinkedIn, I would say, was something at that time did not even exist. I'm talking about probably this is 2006, 2007, if I'm not wrong, somewhere around that time. Really long back. And in fact, in those days itself, I still recall we used to do a lot of growth hacking. It was not just pure Google PPC plain play. We were actually tracking the journey of our users at that time, as in their demographics. Where are they coming from? Which cities they're from? What age group? What sort of where are they logging from? So mobile handsets, laptops, they were not really handy at that time. A lot of people used to go to your cyber cafes. I remember we did a campaign at that time itself where we partnered with a lot of cyber cafes, which enabled us to get a lot of users on our website. I think over a period of time, it has all of this has changed a lot. I gradually moved to a B2B more SaaS role, and it's quite different when I look at both the journeys. And in simple words, if I have to put, it's one to one and one to many and many to many. How I'll put it. A lot of technology has shaped, and even from a Martech stack, I think there's this very famous proverb that necessity is the mother of all inventions. I think at that time when the websites were popular, then came the Web 3.0, then the evaluation of the responsive web pages on the mobile, eventually moving on to uh, PWA apps on your cell phones, and eventually now we are in the era where we're even moving ahead from the regular Android and iOS apps. I think one thing which has always remained common for all the marketers is asking questions, uh, and finding answers to those questions has led to a point where all the innovation in the martech space has happened, I would say. uh, Gone are the days of just using the Google Analytics platform. Attribution is a very big thing. uh, so as changes have been introduced, Even the martech space has evolved in that manner. Now, coming back to when I started, a B2C and a B2B framework is completely different when you look at it. But I seldom being asked in the industry, and I always look at this as well. How do I see B2C side of marketing and a B2B side of marketing differing? I seldom, as a B2B marketer, you question, hey, why cannot I try tactics of a B2C industry or a B2C approach to a B2B side? I think it purely comes down to ROI. ROI is the answer that we are looking at. Your product, your services, are they catered to the world or to a very specific audience in that world, in that era? So I think that's where the biggest change is, according to me. And as we move forward, I think a lot is going to happen. At so gone were, as I mentioned, gone are the days of Google Analytics. You have tools which are very heavy on analytics. We very regularly use, very much dependent on our CRM reports. Tableau reports is something that we are very much dependent upon. That's from a SaaS marketing side, but even on a B2C front, from a mobile tracking perspective, attribution perspective, you got tools like Branch.io, Adapt, CleverTap. These are really fantastic tools. Uh, Talk about anything, personalization, uh, tracking, uh, recommendations, or even the best of or doing A/B testing in your campaigns. I think that's over a period of time. A lot has changed. But if I have to give one quick advice, follow the world where it is heading. And if you have a knack for asking questions and digging down deep, there are tons of tools. There are tons of tools, no doubt about that. I'm fan of some really particular tools, and if I look at, not sure if a lot of people know about this, I very excessively use a tool called SparkToro. It actually gives you a lot of audience insights. And earlier in my career, I used to use SEO Moz at that time. SparkToro was launched by one of the founders of SEO Moz only. And now I'm a big fan of SparkToro, which is not, I don't find a very common tool, but somewhere I feel when I need to very dig down in terms of understanding my users. Uh, what are they liking? Where are they coming from? What are their preferences? What are they reading about? Which podcast they are hearing? Which celebrities they are following? I think it's a fantastic tool that I personally follow. So giving you a landscape. This is how it's been, and this is how I see it shaping up. You see a lot of it coming. Marketing is evolving day by day. Uh, we have seen from marketing again. Adding to that, you have got objectives of awareness. You have got objective of demand generation, and you got tools measuring each one of them. That's my two bits on it. Yeah.
Very rightly said, Nikhil. ROI is the answer. And
Hmm.
congratulations on coming so far ahead, 16 years.
And I continue to learn.
Yes, we must. So, as
You
the
don't have a
director,
choice. You live in an era. If you cannot stop learning until you are living.
truly,
Yep.
as the director and head of field marketing, could you explain the role of field marketing in driving business growth and engagement, especially in India, APAC, and MEA markets?
Sure. Now, field marketing, if I have to tell you, it's more of a word coined under the SaaS marketing space. And again, leaving the B2C side of it, when I say SaaS marketing, it's an offering usually which you'll see is not for the many. It's very focused, very targeted. You can have very real time examples, but I'll give you very simplistic of example as well over here. Um, Now, take the most common of tools. Okay, so Jira is a project management tool. I'm sure any developer or any somebody from a technical side heard that word. Jira is a tool almost everybody uses. No, it's not meant for the world. Okay, somebody who's into a hardcore brick and mortar store does not make sense using a Jira. We don't use Jira in our daily everyday life. But when you are at organizations, you are building products, you are building softwares, you are tracking your day-to-day activities, day-to-day rollouts projects. Jira is something which is a very efficient tool, which is purely targeted to more of the technical departments, the product departments, or somewhat the ops department as well. Okay,
Just
somebody
a
taking
second.
part for it. Sorry,
So
yeah.
your frame is not correct, actually.
Is it any better?
No, actually, yeah, you're over the, yeah, right.
Perfect.
Sorry for interrupting. Yeah.
Okay. Now, if I have to ask you, if you have to sell Jira, you cannot sell it to the world, okay? And it's not a small ticket size product as well, okay? Now, you're selling a very niche product to a very focused audience. There has to be a particular need, and before that need, there are times that you have to create the need. And how do you create the need? You show your value, and if that value is that exciting that it makes sense, yes, it's going to help you out. You create your demand. Okay. Now, for having such deep conversations, you cannot probably do it on the platform on the fly. You have got very limited time period. Asking for a time or a meeting, you'll hardly get 5 minutes or 10 minutes of serious time. And I always feel the biggest of transactions, the biggest of relationships are done over a conversation. Okay. Um Business these days merely not reply are relying on your product, your value, your solution. No, there's a very strong component which is called trust, and the trust builds post a relationship. Now, when I talk about field marketing, I simply put it, it's about building relationships, a stronger relationship, having very meaningful conversations. How do they happen? You got limited time over an internet, over a digital platform. So probably you start your conversation somewhere at a digital platform, but it happens uh, when you shake hand with someone, when you are sharing a coffee with someone, okay, when you're trying to understand what are they doing and what are their priorities, and then you share your thoughts. Uh, and that's how you build meaningful relationship. Now, field marketing is purely about building those meaningful relationships when I talk about. And as part of when I look at APAC, the entire APAC, MEA, Australia, New Zealand, or India for sake, these are very different geographies. They have their own nuances, and I personally love those nuances. That's the biggest learning, if I have to tell you. And I can give you very small examples and really funny one as well. Uh, to give you an example, it's a very no brainer and it's a quick tip. If you are in Japan and you're going for a business meeting, do wear really nice socks, okay? Because most of the places, if you are stepping in for a lunch or for a coffee, it's a cultural thing that you take off your shoes outside. Mind you, wear nice socks, okay?
Lesson learned.
While shaking hands, don't use your left hand, use your right hand. Why? There's a reason behind that as well. There are around people. Now, cold calling is a very, very common tactic all across the world. You're talking to, if you, it's a tactic which just does not work in Australia. They have their own space they don't like, and don't get misled that they don't know about you. They know the world about you. It's just that they will come to you when you have generally created a need for them. So globally or regionally, if you look at, uh, you somewhere have to tweak your GTM pitch when you are going to each of the market. At some places, people love meeting over a coffee or a lunch. There are places where people love meeting over a dinner. Leave aside these large geographies. I have roughly close to about 11 years of SaaS experience doing B2B marketing. In India itself, I'll tell you, working in Delhi to working in Mumbai, to working in Bangalore, to working in Chennai. It's all very different. The audience is completely different. Uh, I don't want to take bad words from anyone, but I'm very proud to say whenever I work in Chennai or Bangalore, very sincere audience. You give them 9 o'clock, they'll be there at 9 o'clock. Okay, and then there are a lot of preferences, even uh, on your communication pitch. It differs a lot. I'll give you an example. Uh, you work in Middle East, local human imagery, you work really fantastically well. You work in a region like ANZ or Singapore, or even for sake India. We love looking at numbers. Okay, we just truly in love with numbers. 30% ROI year on year. That's a number we love. That's no of cost saving. So there are a lot of tests over a period of time. I have somebody who has built a knack of experiments. I seldom work with my team and hey, can we try this? Let's do this. Let's do this. And there is never an answer of yes and no at any given point of time. The always answer is let's try and let's measure it. So, and this comes actually from my old product management days that I have this knack of let's experiment but measure it. People do a lot of experiments, but I've seen they tend to miss out on analyzing those data, storing that data for future, so that you, if you have learned something from your experiments, it's stored and you can continue growing on. So that's how the journey has been. All these markets are amazing. I personally love talking to people. I love building relationships, uh, having conversations. So that's where my sweet area, and that's what keeps you motivated and energized each day at my work.
For sure, for sure. Very enriching insights and great lessons.
Hmm.
Says demand generation is a critical aspect of marketing now. Could you
Hmm.
share any unique marketing ideas or campaigns you have been a part of that have worked in demand generation strategy?
Uh, there are actually a lot of them. I'll not probably particularly stress on one particular campaign, but it's an approach that I look at and which I feel does work very strongly. Uh, and this is something called as the integrated approach. Okay, so your demand generation or your demand funnel does not start from one particular activity, campaign, or tactic that you have tried. It's an over a period of time exercise. Uh, I think the first and the foremost, the most important step is identifying those right accounts that you want to talk to. And the next step comes in, you got the account list, whom you want to talk to. Then comes in, what are their problem areas? What are they looking for? Number four, you align your offerings and where I can help and where I can support. I think it starts over here. And again, it starts how now when you have done your user behavior testing, you know you have a defined persona that you are targeting. I think it starts at day one and then and there. How do you ensure what this user is, say, for example, searching on Google regarding their problem areas at the work solutions that they are looking at, which platforms they are looking at, or are they reading any consuming content on websites like Money Control, or are they reading G2 reviews, or uh, are they following the Magic Quadrant report? Okay, so how do I be present over here? How do I ensure when this person is looking out, I am visible at that area? Now, it could be merely a simple Google search itself. It could be a mailer campaign. It could be a display campaign running or a programmatic campaign running somewhere. Now, this may not create an immediate demand, but somewhere you started the funnel then and there itself. The user may encounter that messaging somewhere after the fifth or the sixth visit, may recall something. Keep tracking, keep track of everything. I still did create a huge Excel where I store my UTMs and I track them. Uh, Eventually, roughly about ninth or tenth visit, you will realize that this person may turn up for a meeting, may come onto your website and fill a book a demo or a contact us or request a code form. So, but you cannot give credit to one particular campaign over here that has worked. It's
Yeah.
an entire integrated approach, which starts probably at a digital level, or even an outdoor hoarding that he would have seen or he or she would have seen on the road, eventually leading to a lead submission. That lead submission moving to probably first qualification, identifying the needs, to probably building an entire case study for them, uh, and then taking those conversations forward in the funnel. So there are tons of them. And from a field marketing aspect, if you ask me, uh, we have done we have the traditional large conferences, the roundtables, then the podcast, a lot of experimental campaign. Uh, at Uniphore, we run this annual event, which is now globally present. Is something called as Uniphore Impact. And I'm being honest, it's not a sales-driven campaign. It's just about building relationships, just about purely building relationships. And this year we did the second edition of it. Fabulous show. You're not there for selling. Honestly, selling is a word that people probably misguide themselves, but it's about value-based conversations that we always look at. So probably that I can highlight a few things over there.
Yes, see, technology and disruption play a significant role in the marketing world. So, I want to ask you, how have you leveraged these factors to make an impact and drive change in your role?
Uh, Now, as I told you, I started in the era when the internet was somewhere in the middle, and then the bubble burst happened, and even at that date, okay. So I honestly, I'll be transparent. It never happened accidentally for me. I always had a very keen interest in the internet technologies back on those days, and the big question was always, how do I keep myself updated? Okay, what is happening around me? What are the new technologies? And back in those days, I think the biggest thing that I was chasing was the Google search algorithm changes. And I used to, I was a very avid reader of Rand Fishkin from SEO Moz at that time, and a few other SEO blogs a lot of people used to run. And by that time, I remember 2011, 12. I was with a very aggressive startup, and we were pioneers in SEO at that time. If you have to grow organically in India, we were the guys. We were there. And at that time it was black hat SEO, white hat SEO. We had done everything. We had failed at a lot of things. We learned a lot and moved ahead. And from there till day today, I follow a lot of leaders. I read. I still read a lot. I'm not a bookworm. I don't like. I don't know. Somehow I don't like reading hard copies, but I love reading a lot of blogs. I got a lot of people in my LinkedIn network uh, who contribute a lot of fabulous work. Second piece, I would say I very aggressively follow my competition, my peers, what they are doing in the industry. That's one part, and I think over a period of time, I was part of earlier also a couple of global organizations. So over a period of time, the biggest I would say um, a directory that I built is my network of people that I'm connected to, and they actually share a lot of great content that really helps me till date. Now, coming back to marketing and technology stack, I think technology is everywhere right now. We can't even talk about. I'm currently assisting with a company which is we are global leaders in AI. Okay, and I seldom talk to a lot of people, and I'm being really transparent. I've seen e-commerce companies started naming themselves as AI. Okay, uh, AI, it's the next leap it has, and probably a year down the line, probably 2022, I would have been saying it's the next leap, but it's present now. It's a part of it. Anybody, leave it a marketeer as well. I would say when I talk about AI, by default, the first word comes with ChatGPT. Okay, it
It's a
has
part of our
transformed.
life now. Yes.
But I think that's great marketing, if you ask me. GPT is something we know now, but I recall this was 2012 or 13. Google launched a product called Google Allo. It died after a couple of years. It was pretty much the same that you were asking a voice bot a question and it was giving you the answer that you were expecting to get. Okay, now GPT is a way extended, matured product out of it now, but and then you got people I speak to you like, hey, you use Chat GPT. Oh no, it's not working. I'm sorry if you're not using it, you're losing it. You're out of the game. Technology is like that. You are not getting adaptive to it. It's not your problem. You're gonna lose. Be adaptive to the technology. Even AI. A very common question is AI there to eat human jobs? No, I'm sorry. It's there to eat even stronger. And uh, again, I'll give you a very basic example. Okay, over here, and I seldom show this picture to a lot of them. I probably cannot share my screen and show it to you, but you have those really digital mopping floors these days. Okay, a lot of people
Yes.
keep them at their home, and there's a small robot which is moving around your home. It cleans it. Okay. Now, how do you look at this technology? Is it eating the job of your mate? Okay, or it's making your mate powerful? At my home, honestly, my mate has learned how to use it. Take it, do it. We don't want to get into it. But apparently, if you're not using the technology, you're not moving ahead. GPT is one small example of it. Till date, there's seldom I've seen there are a lot of technology stacks which are already available. Uh, I still recall yesterday I was talking to somebody and they had built a fantastic product which was around engagement at a booth. Okay, it's a very small piece, and they had done gamification and so technology is evolving each day. You got new innovations coming every day. Probably everything is not right fit for you, but I talk and I look at every one of them, and I do try to test them, and some are great. That's how you got tools like Marketo in this world. You got IVRs in this world. You got WhatsApp messaging tools as well. So you don't try it, you lose it. So it's part of the life. But I've got
Very true.
a
Very true.
favorite tools that I regularly use. Till date, I'm very big fond of Google Analytics. I something which I really love. Uh, Being a SaaS marketer, Tableau was something which was part of life. And then there are other tools for other each and every activity that we look at. But still, Excel rocks. Excel, yes. Which
Yes.
and these is I've personally done an integration with GPT, and I am able to do a lot of Excel based programming on my Excel files itself, which helped me a lot.
Yes. We
Not
say
sure, in
old
fact.
is gold.
Yeah, yeah, indeed. In fact, I'm right now writing a blog on using how I've used the fuzzy logic program in basically defining which accounts I've already touched upon, which we are in conversation for, and which we need to tap in the long run. It's a very simple program, thanks to GPT and AI products. That's how it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, Nikhil, given your experience in growth marketing, what are some key principles you believe are essential for sustainable and scalable growth in a competitive market?
No, there could be really mixed answers to it. And I see, I've been an entrepreneur in my career, and I think that was one piece of it where I learned the most. And till date, even though I'm leading the marketing function for my region, somewhere deep down, I very strongly feel my responsibility does not end at just meeting my KPIs. No, it's a lot. It's a lot you're looking at the end of the day. It's about how do you run a business, and any business cannot be run without you're not delivering value to your customers. Okay, that's paramount. Even in fact, at Uniphore, we have this culture. We all wear multiple hats over here. Okay. Now, when I talk about growth marketing, and again, it comes back from the experience that I've told you. Uh, uh, Now, the first piece is the value which I mentioned about. Okay. How do you ensure your customers are successful? And once you have made them successful, you will follow. Your success will always follow on that front. Okay. Being a marketer, I think, as I mentioned, we have KPIs around getting qualified leads, uh, getting opportunities moved to a certain level in funnel. But at the one end of the day, I think you're also in a job and you're part of a business as well. What makes a business run is successful customers. Okay, look at the big picture always, and uh, if you really want to be successful with your customers, start talking to them, start listening to them. Once you start listening to them, there are a lot of things that you realize and you would have never thought of. Okay, uh, and there are tons of examples over here. I can honestly tell you, we have over a period of time identified industries, focus industries, which we were never thought of, but we actually went down to the ground. Now we are a customer experience product. Okay, and we realized. We very strongly work on the voice side of a business. If you've got functions which are talking to your customers, we try and automate those functions, transform those functions for you. And when we go back to our customers, I'll give you an example, very simple. By default, for a voice company, contact center is a very common industry. Okay, but and when you go to the contact center, try and listen to their areas, trying to understand what are their objectives, what are they trying to solve. Okay, a very important theme that we took to the market was somewhere down the line was how do you turn your contact center from a cost center to a profit center. Okay, every business needs to be profitable. Okay,
Yes.
but that profit has to be attained by ensuring you deliver value to your customers, and it starts at day one. It could be from the point of the first demo that you're giving. Okay, to the point of a pilot program that you run with them. Are you able to show them value? And that's where even the smallest of inventions of growth marketing happen. Okay, there's so much to learn. Now, it cannot be on a tactical level, but what you're talking, or what's your communication, or what's your messaging that you're taking to the market is something that you'll get a lot from over there. And I'll give you an example. So at Uniphore, we are known to be the enterprise AI company. And right now, when you look at enterprise AI, we are there to make humans more powerful. Okay, that's something that we are talking to the world. Okay, but probably the world does not want to listen, or a lot of regions want to listen this, but some regions want to some listen something different. When we operate in Philippines, it's a hardcore BPO market. They love. they love to resonate with turning their contact center from a call center to a profit center. Okay, when we work in Middle East regions like Middle East and all, omni channel gets really big. Even in India, you got people giving you reviews over Twitter, cribbing on LinkedIn, talking about Facebook, writing on what their WhatsApp status messages, or even writing a Google review or calling a contact center. They are different channels. Are all of those channels connected? Are you able to listen from all the same channels? No, there are challenges around it. So I think when you start connecting the dots, you start building, you start getting ideas, and there is no end to it. There's no end to it, honestly. I remember there was a period of time I was leading marketing function for a expense management tool. I do a lot of business travel, and I realized how powerful that tool is. And we very solely targeted business travel professionals. We actually did a lot of campaigns around airport. Okay, on with taxi services, we had very strategic partnerships with clients like Uber and Ola. So when you start tracing down your customers, you start listening to them, you understand where they are, what are their
Yes.
problems, what are they looking for, what solutions are. So that's how that's my research way of doing it.
Customers are the king, rightly said.
Yes,
And
yes.
so, marketing requires a combination of creativity and data driven decision making. So,
Hmm.
how do you balance these two aspects and create effective marketing strategies?
Um, Great questions, honestly. Great question, honestly. And I actually look at this into two parts of my career. I started as a more hardcore digital person, doing a lot of analytics, and then I became an entrepreneur. And I remember when I was an entrepreneur, even the smallest of decisions like, hey, how my logo should appear, how my banner should be appearing, and what's my TG, what's gonna resonate to them, which color scheme will work, which will not work. Uh, I think for me, and it could differ for a lot of people and a lot of professionals as well. It starts with the data part first. Okay, I am somewhere slightly more stronger on that front, but over a period of time, uh, I have put a very strong stress on the creative part. Okay, I might not be the best at it, and I'm being honest over here, but I've got team players who are rock solid. I started with an internet company, the largest internet. The user experience was the paramount thing. Okay, where this mouse clicker is, how this form needs to open, how the edges need to be, how your UI comes to you, what color codes you like. If I place a submit button on the top, or should I place a submit button on the bottom? The color should be blue, or it should be red. I think for me, more than the creativity, it has been the data part because I've done all this, but I've measured them. Okay,
Yes. And
so
details too. Yes.
I have measured whether the blue color button is working here or a red one is working. My lead conversion forms. How are they loading on the mobile screen? Where are the majority of users coming? So I think for me, it has a lot been on the data front, but that data can only be powerful if you are doing a lot of these experiments, if you're building such amazing creators that resonate, that catches your eye, and you're bang on with that. I am honestly not a designer, but I love beautiful designs. I love beautiful colors. It catches the eye. I remember me and my wife were out somewhere yesterday, and we were passing by. It was nothing, just a fluorescent green balloon. A person was holding it. It was just that the color or a big round balloon, and it catches the eye. Okay. And what if you have your brand logo right in the middle in a beautiful font, and it has to be bold? Okay, you've got that. So for me, data is paramount.
Yes. So, finally, Nikhil, as a marketing leader, how do you stay updated on the latest marketing trends and innovations, and how do you ensure your team remains at the forefront of the ever changing marketing landscape in these regions you oversee?
Again, I'll somewhere go back to the questions I previously asked. I think for me, it starts. There are multiple sources to it. Honestly, I very strongly rely on my customers. I keep listening to them. I keep talking to them on a very regular basis, and a lot of our campaigns tactics are driven focused towards our customers. That being said, there are tons of blogs, there are tons of podcasts. As I mentioned, I'm a big fan of a tool like SparkToro or Rand Fishkin, and there are tons of other influencers that I follow. Uh, Again, plus to that, I very closely follow my competition, my global leaders, what they are doing. Uh, that's something there. And then you got great work happening at great agencies as well. They do fabulous work. Trust me on that. I think when I talk to a lot of agencies on what work they are doing, and I might sound rude to a lot of people, but my straight answer is, hey, I know the world is doing this. Tell me what unique you are doing. Okay. Uh,
Yes.
that's something which is really important, honestly, for me. So I refer a lot. I'm a very avid LinkedIn user. I'm a very avid Twitter user. uh, in fact, my family tends to joke that you're way more your social media is your LinkedIn and Twitter. I think that's a very important source of information for me, honestly. uh, I was very avid on Reddit as well for a very long time. There is a very fantastic tool called Product Hunt. A lot of great tech tools are being and reviews are there. So I think digital is a by default native for me when it goes back to reading a lot or what's happening, what's changing in the landscape. Uh, these are the sources of information. But at the forefront, we try and build stuff. We try and build things which are curated for our customers, for our prospects, and targeted to them only. Curated from and targeted to them as well. Yep.
Yes. Thank you so much, Nikhil. Today we have learned about the importance of understanding your audience, staying adaptable in a relatively changing landscape, and always striving for the highest standards of creativity and execution. Thank you for sharing your expertise and vision with us. It was
Thank you.
lovely having you today as a guest.
Thank you, Nidhi. Pleasure is all mine.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.